What's up, guys? Welcome back to Last Stop Sports Talk. Today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025, and on this here, episode 71, we've got another episode of the Draft Brothers coming at you. We will be ranking our top 10 running backs of 2025. So, we've watched all the film on all the top running backs and the big 300 or whatever they call it, the top 300
consensus rankings.
Consensus rankings, yes, there's the word. So, we've ranked them all up, and it should be a good one. So, with that being said, let's dive right into it and start with our number 10 ranked running back, who's tied for number 10 in our rankings. Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State running back, 6 foot, 221 pounds. In this 2024 season of 16 games for him, he rushed for 1,060 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, 14 rush touchdowns with 1 fumble, 22 receptions, 161 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Kian had him 15. I had him 6. Carson also had him 15. So with that being said, I'm clearly the highest, so I'll get us started on him. So for Quinshon Judkins, he's a power contact runner. He looks for and embraces contact, especially around the line of scrimmage and through the line. He seems like he is hitting and getting hit and delivering contact all the way through the line of scrimmage. Pretty much every time he runs the ball is what it feels like, and he's not afraid to lower his head and lay the wood. He's got good size, good quickness in close quarters. He's had good production in college at Ohio State, and I think he's got enough size and power to be able to work towards being a 3-down back in the NFL. Or he may be best paired with like a quick, shifty guy, kind of like the Montgomery Gibbs in Detroit or something along those lines. And he also seems like whenever he does catch passes, he didn't do it a ton, but he seems natural at it. He seems comfortable with it.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. So that'll get us started.
My biggest thing with him, favorite, was just what you already said, his physicality. He plays very aggressive. He's always falling forward to get a couple extra yards. And he backed up this physicality not only on film, but also at the combine, where he ran a 4.48 with a 1.51 10-yard split, 38.5-inch vertical jump at 6 foot 221. Mm-hmm. That's insane. One of the biggest showers in the combine this year. You got any other positives, Ken?
I saw the same things you guys did. Just a fluent receiver, like you said. He's always lowering his shoulder to finish his runs. And, I was also impressed with his top speed for his size. And I think that he's pretty good at changing speeds and accelerating once he finds a gap. Obviously, we weren't as high on him as you were, Cody. But I'll get us started here on the cons. About the contact thing, I think he seeks it too much. This guy is always looking to run into somebody. Now, obviously, that can be a good thing. But I think his speed and quickness, I think, are pretty solid, especially with that size. I want to see him use that more instead of jamming his helmet into guys' chests.
True.
I mean, I think he had one of his best runs of the season. I remember watching it, and I had to write it down because I was really impressed with this run. But he's playing Marshall. He sidestepped 3 defenders, threw them off with his arm, and then just powered forward to finish the run. And then eventually multiple defenders caught him. But it was nice to see him actually use his feet to get some defenders off balance instead of just powering straight through them. But he is pretty solid at that, but I don't think he's as strong as he thinks he is the thing. I don't think his trucking is going to be nearly as effective in the NFL. I think defenders are just going to grab him and drag him down, not allowing him to bounce back up. So that's kind of one thing that worries me. But I feel like I said, I just feel like he has more lateral movement ability and wiggle than he shows, and I want him to stop trying to out-muscle defenders. Just use that wiggle that you have, get him off balance, then you can truck him. But don't just run right into him. Try to do a little juke move or something first so you can get them falling backwards, then you can truck them. Just stop jamming your head into people.
Yep.
He does do a lot of head jamming.
Yeah.
Something that I really wasn't in love with him is he doesn't have a lot of wiggle, like you said. And then I noticed that he was used a lot off tackle at Ohio State. They would pitch the ball to him outside. Then the last thing that's to say about his negatives is he just doesn't really make people miss. 0.22 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is one of the lowest in the class. And when he's at Ohio State with Travion Henderson, 2 big names there, I figured that for these guys to really stand out, because they're not going to do it on a stat sheet, they're going to have to be super efficient. And Quinshon Judkins just wasn't that. I do think he has a place in the NFL in a committee, but he just didn't show efficiency this year, so he's not going to stand out to me.
Yeah, that's fair. The only thing the biggest thing for me that I saw was, it's either he looks for contact too much or he doesn't have the best vision getting through the line. Like, he seems to get hit all the time or be delivering hits when sometimes it looks like he may be able to avoid it, like use that wiggle that he has, even though I think he kind of lacks in that area a little bit.
Now, he has been productive since his true freshman season at Ole Miss. He took over, who did he? Zach Evans at Ole Miss. He was drafted by the Rams a couple of years ago, but he just went in there. It was Zach Evans' junior year. He had earned the starting job at Ole Miss, and then Quinshon Judkins. He was a 3-star recruit, so it wasn't even a 5-star or anything. He just came in and earned his way to the starting job. Had his first 2 seasons at Ole Miss, then came to Ohio State. So he has always been productive, always been a starter.
Yeah.
Just had a running mate with him this year, and I think I don't know. It's tough whenever you move to an even bigger, better school, and then you're going up. You're you're constantly going to be compared to TreVeyon Henderson. Because it's it's okay. Well, basically Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. They're not like that exactly, but everybody's Jaylen Warren's better because he's more efficient. It's TreVeyon Henderson was better.
Yeah.
Or looked better because he was more efficient. So it's just kind of tough for Quinshon Judkins. But I actually have a comp for him.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I like doing running back comps. Running back's my position.
If you have them all, you can take it over.
Okay. No, I don't have them all.
Because I did not like my comps for the running backs.
Okay, well, I don't have them all. Mine, you know my comps. My comps aren't always football related.
All right.
Okay, I forgot about that.
This one actually is. My comp for Quinshon Judkins is anti-Braylon Allen. So Braylon Allen is bigger, but he wants to cut and stutter step and make guys miss. Quinshon Judkins is smaller, but he wants to lower his shoulder and truck everybody he possibly can. So this guy is anti-Braylon Allen.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, you're pretty accurate.
Summary comp?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Jack of all trades, master of none back that is always looking to deliver a hit. NFL comp, James Conner.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that's not bad. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a big bruiser back mainly, but yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Moving on to our other guy that is tied for 10th in our rankings, Montrell Johnson Jr. out of Florida, 5'11", 212 pounds. In this 2024 season, he played 10 games, 593 rush yards, 5.9 yards per carry, 6 rush touchdowns, 1 fumble, 13 receptions, 64 receiving yards, 0 receiving touchdowns. Kean had him 10. I had him 19. Carson had him 7. So let's get right into it.
This is the last guy I watched while I was scouting, and at this point, honestly, I'd watched so many running backs in so short of amount of time. I was kind of sick of watching.
Yeah.
But this guy is someone that caught my eye when I didn't want to watch any more running backs, and he made me want to keep watching.
He's electric.
So I initially ranked him, and then when I came back and I was in a better mood and fresher, I came back and I was like, damn, he's even better than I thought. So he just kept moving up, and I noticed that he has good wiggle.
Oh, yeah.
At pretty decent size, 5'11", 212. He will run you over, though. He has home run. Well, I say home run speed, but it's not like it's like home run speed if it's like a 350-foot fence, you know?
True.
Because anything over 50 yards, he starts to get tired and they start to hawk him. But between 20 and 50 yards, he'll definitely break away from corners. And he showed that in the combine. I think he ran a 4.40 or 4.41.
4.41.
Yeah, he's fairly patient, which I was impressed with someone this low in consensus rankings. Runs through arm tackles and he's a hard runner.
Yeah.
I love this guy. This guy is a big-time sleeper in this class. I think right now he's currently ranked in the consensus rankings, the big board, around 370, which is so disrespectful.
Well, he's coming off injury, correct?
He is.
Lots of
kind
them,
of. Yeah, that kind of.
Just the way he plays, I think it leads to injuries. And he's never been given more than 162 carries, or he's never had more than 841 rush yards in a season.
Yeah.
But I loved what I saw from Montrell Johnson too. I agree with you. Impressive speed for a 212-pound running back. He makes running back defensive backs look so easy. And then he ran that 4.41 140-yard dash. I was like, oh, damn. Yeah, that's true. That's some true speed there. I think he always ends his runs in an angry fashion. He's going to stiff arm you if you're lucky. But if not, he's going to lower his head and bowl you over.
Yeah.
He's very, very strong. I love that about him. He also makes some really sharp cuts. He's got some nimble, quick feet. It looks like he's bouncing off his toes to jolt in different directions. I loved watching that as well. And I think he's got very, very solid vision. He can find and hit gaps in the offensive line. He sets up the gaps, too, really well. In a way that our basketball coach should be really proud of the way he sets up his blocks, like he's setting up the pick. He does a little quick juke to one way to open it up right before he gets to the gap, and then he bursts through. And I think that he's a solid receiver who can make something happen once he gets the ball in space. The stats aren't there, obviously. Mm-hmm. He did not have the stats this year. He only played 10 games. It's one of those things where whenever you watch the film, he's a better back than the stats he put up.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I don't really have any more pros to add because that pretty much wraps it for what I like. But yeah, as far as his con, it's just the stats thing and injury thing. Like, he's electric to watch, and I love him, but it's just I'm gonna have to see it.
Yeah,
NFL is tough, so I mean, I hope he gets he's got the electricity factor and power factor and pretty good size for a running back nowadays, and isn't afraid of contact for sure. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to see more. That's the biggest thing for me. Yeah,
things where it's like, is he even going to be drafted?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a chance that he might not be drafted.
Yep.
But I know Carson and I both liked what we saw. Carson,
I really like him. 0.27 missed tackles forced per attempt. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
My biggest cons are just I think he has bad burst and slow acceleration, and then not really. He's lacking top end speed. So I think at the end of the racetrack he's slow, and at the beginning of the racetrack he's slow, but in that midsection he'll knock your socks off. So.
Yeah. One other con, besides the low production thing, I think that sometimes he honestly looks indecisive. He does like 3 or 4 little jukes trying to set up a defender, just like and it looks like he doesn't really know which way he's gonna actually go. He's just kind of he's just gonna like juke until the defender does something. And he doesn't really plant too hard then cut. He's more of like a bouncy runner, which is kind of looks weird for a 212-pound back. But I got a comp for him here.
Oh, nice. Ooh.
Yeah, I call him the great value version of Omarion Hampton. We'll get to Omarion Hampton in a little bit, but Montrell Johnson Jr. he's jacked. He's built and plays like a man among boys. He can still change directions impressively well, and he can power through a weaker defender. So that's kind of what I saw from him.
It's funny you say that because I almost have him ranked as high as Omarion Hampton.
Yeah, I saw that. The disrespect is crazy.
Summary comp?
Yeah.
Jack of all trades back, but not the greatest athlete. You can tell I don't really like this isn't as easy with running backs because it's like I keep saying the same thing. Yeah. NFL comp I really don't like either. TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon.
Wow. That's a blast from the past.
I think it was mostly just because I feel like he looked so tall on the field.
Yeah.
And that's like when I see tall and skinny running back, all I can think is TJ Yeldon.
TJ Yeldon. How many TJ Yeldons are we gonna have here?
That's the only one.
Okay.
TJ Yeldon, that's awesome. All right, moving into our number 9, Devin Neal out of Kansas, 5'11", 213 pounds. In the 2024 season, he played 12 games. He had 1,266 rush yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 16 rush touchdowns, 1 fumble, 24 receptions with 254 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Kean had him 17. I had him 8. Carson had him 9. So I will dive right in to start off talking about Devin Neal. So he's a quick, shifty back with pretty good vision, and he's good at following his blockers to get through the line, and he's got pretty decent size. Whenever he is shifty, he's shifty without slowing down, like barely at all. He can keep his momentum through his cuts and keep his balance. He's pretty balanced back, and he looks decisive. We just talked about the indecisiveness with Florida guy.
Montrell Johnson.
Okay, Montrell Johnson. Yeah, we just talked about his indecisiveness. This guy looks a lot more decisive when he has a lane. He's going to see it and hit it. And he does have the ability to do short yardage power runs and also absorb some contact, and he can be a receiver out of the backfield too, but quick and shifty is more his thing. It's more of his game.
Yeah, I saw everything that you saw. When I initially watched him, I loved him. He was my running back 4 at one point.
Wow.
Then he kept moving down because we'll get to that. But yeah, I just love how he makes people miss at the second and third levels, like you said, and he doesn't lose speed. Fell in love with that. Maybe he doesn't lose speed because he doesn't have much speed in the first place.
Yeah,
probably.
And then my other biggest thing that I just loved him for is his patience is insane. reminds me a lot of somebody that I'll also get to later. But I think it's great NFL level patience and vision.
Yeah.
I feel like he always finds the hole no matter how long it takes to develop, and he explodes through it. And he's a passionate runner. He'll lower the shoulder after the play. He'll flex, get snotty, do whatever. Loves delivering hits, and he showed that he can withstand these because he was a full 2-year starter at Kansas, and I don't believe he had any injuries. Keen, what do you got?
That was his biggest thing that I saw from him, pro-wise. Just his decisiveness and his vision are just great. This guy can zigzag between defenders the whole way down the field. I think his ball carrier vision at all levels is just great, and I think that will easily carry to the next level. And I guess get started with, because everything else that I saw was just like what you guys saw too. He's top speed is not very good. Like at best, it's like average, but he does maintain it through all of his weaves and cuts and stuff. So I was pretty impressed with that. I think he's not gonna break away for long runs, like long touchdown runs, but he is going to maneuver for some good chunk plays. But he ran a 4.58 40-yard dash. To me, it kind of looks like he scoots. Like
That's so true.
He doesn't pick up his feet very high off the ground. So like whenever you watch him run, it's like that guy's scooting.
He's
scooting.
definitely scooting.
Yeah,
he's
scoots.
a scooter for sure.
Yeah, but I just think he does like to lower his shoulder at the end of runs. I just don't always think he can bounce back up and have that contact balance. But he is always lowering his shoulder. I just wish he would be stronger at 213 pounds. But overall, I think this guy is going to get you some good chunk plays. He's just not going to get you the 40. Anything longer than like a 30-yard touchdown this is not your guy.
Yeah, I had the same thing, just not the fastest top speed. And like he can make you miss downfield, but one other little thing I saw is that whenever he does make you miss, it's really like his only way to make you miss is quick, shifty cuts. He's not really going to make you miss any other way. It's kind of his only game. He will lower his shoulder, but like you said, he's not as strong as you hope him to be, so he relies a lot on his... If he's going to make someone miss, his best bet's a quick shift or a quick cut like that.
I think he plans ahead for that. He's a very smart runner.
Yeah,
so
he is.
He doesn't get you, like he doesn't meet you in the phone booth. He avoids the phone booth altogether.
Yeah, he's like, he ain't going there.
Yeah, like he cuts and gets you out of position before he ever gets close to you, so he doesn't have to run into that.
Yeah, which I don't really hate any of his negatives too much, though, which is why I have him ranked so high.
Right.
Because, like, my last thing is, like, a pro-con for him, for me, is he had a solid 4 years of production in college. So, like, I think that's good. Like, sure, it's a lot of wear and tear on your body, but, like, he knows his game. He knows the game of football. He knows how to play and how to be successful with his build and his skill set.
Yeah, starting as a true freshman at Kansas is impressive.
Yeah.
And then the only con that I have to add is just 0.22 missed tackles forced per attempt, which I'm sure you guys are learning is pretty low on the scale.
Right. Yeah.
Summary comp.
Yeah.
Yes.
A back that has great patience and enough of everything else, but not a good athlete and won't wow you.
Yeah.
NFL comp. This is why I fell in love with the guy, Le'Veon Bell.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of thought of that too.
Smaller though. Smaller
Definitely
Le'Veon
smaller.
Bell. Great patience, not a great athlete.
Yeah. Kind of shifty.
Not really an athlete.
Yeah. Pissed on your leg.
No, I like that. I kind of thought of that when I was watching him too, which is kind of why I liked him so high. All right, moving on to our number 8 ranked guy. It goes by the name of R.J. Harvey Jr. from UCF, 5'8", 205 pounds. In his 2024 season, he played 12 games, 1,577 rush yards, 6.8 yards per carry, 22 rush touchdowns, and 2 fumbles, 20 receptions, 267 receiving yards with 3 receiving touchdowns. Kian had him 16. I had him 13. Carson had him 4. So, Carson, get us started on
Yeah, this guy's on my back right now, carrying him into our top 10.
Yeah.
But I really love this guy. But the first thing I thought when I saw him, as I was sick of watching running backs, I was like, dang, this guy's an athlete.
Yeah.
So that got my attention to watch a little more. When I watched some more, I saw home run speed, great patience. He explodes through the hole, capable receiver. He's energetic, explosive. He'll wiggle you. He'll lower his shoulder into you. But the thing that made me really fall in love with him was it was a play. 4th and 12 against Colorado. Team had to have it. Quarterback was getting pressured. Had to check it down to him. R.J. Harvey makes 4 guys miss or breaks their tackle behind the first down line. Breaks a 5th tackler after the first down line and lowers his shoulder and runs to the 6th guy.
Jeez.
And, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Now, this is a guy that'll go get it when you need it. 0.3 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is pretty dang high.
Good.
So that kind of backed up what I saw, and then he backed up his athleticism at the combine, where he ran a 4.39.
4.40.
4.40. 4.39 was unofficial.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other positives? Probably not, because you're 13 to 16. But
I pretty much agree with everything you said. I think he's got going off that yards after contact or making guys miss. He's got good contact balance, obviously, and yeah, I had quick, shifty runner, good top end speed, and the ability to break one outside and make something out of nothing if need be.
Very quick and shifty. That 4.40 40-yard dash definitely shows up on film. He's got some burners, that's for sure.
He does.
He's very short. This is like a pro or con. It's just like something. He looks very small out there, but he is 5'8", 205, so he's a well-built guy. What I saw is that this guy stacks his jukes so easily. He's got a low center of gravity, short steps. I think that he's going to turn into a very solid receiving back in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's kind of I'm kind of scared that might be like his ceiling. Now, like I think that he is very good at everything that he does once the ball is in his hands. He's constantly getting defenders off balance so that they slip right off of him. I don't think that he is like explosive enough to like juke and then completely jump to the side and have a defender whiff on him. He just can get the defender off balance and they slip right off him, which it works for him. But I think that what I saw, I don't think he doesn't want to twist you into the dirt or plow through you. He just wants to get you off balance and then run around you.
Right.
And because he has that speed, he does. But I've never been a big fan of the I'm just going to run around you mindset, because NFL defenders are fast. And if the defender does catch him, they might bring him down. At least if they're catching him from the side, he's probably not going to break that tackle. He's got a pretty good ability. He can make you miss in the phone booth for sure.
Yeah.
So if you're in front of him, he can probably make you miss, make you fall off of him. But if the defender catches up to him, they're probably going to bring him down. But with that 4.40 speed, he might not ever really run into that too much. But overall, I guess the reason why I have him ranked so low is just because I feel like, I don't know, I saw some things that just kind of made me fear like this guy might only be a receiving back. And now he's going to be a damn good one, I do believe that. But that's just kind of what I saw from him.
Yeah, I tend to not be a fan of the smaller like guys by NFL standards. Like, sure, he's built well and like powerful, but that he just kept dropping down my rankings because of that reason. He's just smaller by NFL standards, and he's either going to be a receiving back or really have to rely and hone in on using his speed to be NFL defenders, which NFL defenders are fast. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. That's really all I had for him, though, for Collins.
Yeah, he's just kind of old is the biggest thing that I had. I think he's 24 and a half, 24, 23.
Sure.
I can go look.
I think he's and then he just doesn't have a lot of power like you guys were talking about. He doesn't have there's no threat to run you over.
He's 24.
24, yeah. Summary comp.
Yeah.
Good speed back that can do it all and was the best player on the field in most of his games.
Yeah.
And my NFL comp, partially it was because I think when I saw him, I was just like, for some reason he was just screaming Commanders to me. Like he's a Austin Eckler replacement.
I like that.
Okay.
So my initial comp for him was Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
But I ended up not settling on that. And I probably went to a worse comp in Boston Scott.
Boston Scott? You're disrespecting your RB4.
Oh my God. Boston Scott's like short and thick like this guy.
He is. He's like 5'6", 5'5".
Yeah, I guess.
I was okay with the Austin Eckler one.
So you're saying I should have stuck with Austin Eckler?
Yeah,
I mean, Boston Scott's a pure receiving back that's short and built, so I see that too. But Austin Eckler would have been fair.
This guy's only going to get touchdowns against the Giants too.
That's fine.
Oh, this is awesome. I already have a TJ Yeldon and Boston Scott.
I told you, these running back comps are all harder.
These are great.
They are.
Yeah, they are tough.
I got to get more extravagant.
Moving on to number 7, we've got Bashal Tootin out of Virginia Tech. He's 5'9", 206. In this 2024 season of 11 games, he had 1,159 rush yards, 6.3 yards per carry, 15 rush touchdowns, 4 fumbles, 23 receptions, and 81 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Kean had him 6. I had him 9. Carson had him 13. So, Kean, get us rolling on him.
I told you guys last week, remember going over Combine, he's like, I'm going to like this guy. And I'm going to be pushing him up our draft board here.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, Bashal Tutin, for one thing, awesome name that I've never heard before. I appreciate
Great
the unique
name, yeah.
names,
Yeah.
being named Kean. So, but I think this guy, if he gets in like a Shanahan system, he would be awesome. The one-cut running style, this guy is so great at it. He makes some tight turns, accelerates as soon as he's handed the ball. He hits that gap in the offensive line, and he gets downhill. Like, no nonsense. He knows where he needs to go, and he gets there because he has that 4.32 speed that he ran in the 40-yard dash. This was the guy. I watched this film before the combine ever happened. I said top speed looks smooth and fast. He even gapped some DBs on his breakaway runs, which is pretty impressive from a running back who's 206. But so I was so intrigued to see his 40-yard dash at the combine, and then he went out and ran a 4.32 with a 1.49 10-yard split. This guy was top of his class, and basically like a lot of the stuff at the combine. I think as well, he has some strength to always keep his legs turning, and he lowers his shoulder to finish runs. He's well built, as I said, 5'9", 206, and I just think he's a solid, balanced, all-around running back. I was pleased with his ball carrier vision, turning ability, low center of gravity, acceleration, changing speeds, top speed, his strength. I just really liked everything that I saw from Bashal Tutin. I know that a lot of his best runs were all like breakaway, so it's just like him kind of showing his speed. But
it just shows up.
It does show up, and like everything that I saw to get him to that point, to the breakaway run where he's just outrunning DBs, it was impressed. It impressed me at least that he could find the gap, he could hit it, shake a guy if he had to. But I just think that if you want a one-cut runner in this class, there's not too many better than Bashal Tutin.
The only positive that I have to add, you already hit anything, but 0.32 missed tackles forced per attempt, which I believe is the highest we've talked about yet today.
Yeah, it is.
Which, honestly, I didn't see that on film at all, probably because most of his highlights were just breakaways, like you said. But, yeah, I was impressed that that showed up on the stat sheet.
Yeah, I agree with everything, too. The only thing I'll add to get us moving into cons is I have a pro con, is he finds the lane quickly. But sometimes I think it can be a little too quickly.
Like not patient enough.
Right, yeah. He'll just see something and try to hit it when there might be something better that'll develop, or doesn't wait on his blockers quite long enough. So that's kind of a pro con. Like he'll see it and get downhill, but he might, if he waited a split second longer, there might be something else that pops up. But that's something he can learn. So moving into some of the cons I have for him, kind of about it just rolls onto that patience thing that I just mentioned. I think he either hits that lane too quick, or he decides to go outside way too early. Like when I think there's something that'll develop and he's fast enough to get through the line, but he decides to kick it outside. I don't know if he gets impatient or nervous or just thinks he can outrun everyone, because he can. Yeah, he can in college. So that could be different in the NFL, obviously, and he's had some fumble issues over the years. And he's just kind of an average-sized build, but he is powerful. That's the only negative that I had.
I saw the exact same thing as you, Cody. I've written down that he lacks decisiveness and sometimes vision. I think this is because exactly the reasons you said. And then I also had 9 fumbles in the last 2 years, which I think some NFL teams may be concerned with, but they probably think that they can fix. And then I just feel like he doesn't have any wiggle. Maybe it's because he hasn't shown on film because he knows he can just run past guys. Right. But I would like to see some make a man miss ability, even though it did show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly, through my first watch of Bashal Tutin, I was like amazed. I don't even know why. I don't know if I was just in a good mood at the time, but I was like, I got no cons for this guy. I mean, I can definitely see, like, look, going back on the second watch, that was the thing that I saw, just like minimal patience. This guy wants to get up and get out, which goes right into my perfect comp. Because
nice.
This right here it's not a patient animal. So I got a comp for him, and it is a cat who is all hyped up, a hyper cat. He's running on carpet.
That's that's sad.
Because
I like it.
He's got speed, traction. He can make turns easily. He can run circles around you, and you're not going to catch that cat.
Oh my gosh!
But the cat. If the cat is all hyper, he's not going to wait for a gap to open up.
It's true.
He's going to just run around.
It's true. Yeah. Summary comp.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Track star back that is gone once in open space. NFL
True.
comp. Now we're getting to the comps that I like.
Okay, here we go.
Jalen Warren.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
He'll lower his head into you, even though he's not very big. He's got speed. Sometimes he lacks patience. He just wants to right now. You know?
I could see.
I like that. Yeah.
I could see like a thicker Devon Achane too.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, I like it. Moving into our number 6 rank goes by the name of Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers. He is 5'8", 211 pounds. 2024 season, he played 11 games. He had 1,279 rush yards, 5 yards per carry, 13 rush touchdowns, 0 fumbles, 14 receptions, 75 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Kean, you had him 5. Carson, you also had him 5. I had him 14. So, Kean, I think you want to start on this guy, huh?
Oh, I really do. I love Kyle Monangai. If you know me and you know what kind of players that I like to go for, you know, the Kyron Williams, the Bucky Irving, the guys who aren't good athletes but are just damn good football players, that is Kyle Monangai. Oh my gosh, his numbers at the combine are not going to stand out. What did he run, a 4.60, 4.61 or something in the 40-yard dash?
I feel like it was 4.65, but I'll check.
Yeah, I think so. And then check his jumps too, because the jumps were terrible as well.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and I had to check and see what Kyron did at the combine, what Bucky did at the combine, and they did equally as terrible.
Okay,
except they did it at they did it below 200 pounds, and Kyle Monangai is
thick.
He's 211 pounds. So like he's just like a heavier back. And I just think that this guy has everything that it takes to be just like Kyron Williams, to be just like Bucky Irving. Let me just go right into it. Did you find his 40-yard dash?
40-yard dash time, 4.6 with an uninspiring 1.54 10-yard split, 34.5-inch vertical jump, and 9.9 broad jump.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You'd think he's white if you didn't see his picture.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he put up just terrible athletic testing, but he is a very, very good football player. He takes such small, quick steps where he's just pounding into the dirt. Yeah. This guy is a human pinball machine. He runs headfirst into contact, but then just keeps his feet pounding. He bounces off, then he keeps going until he runs into another defender. I think he looks like he is in fast motion while everyone else is in slow motion. All of his movements are so quick. Obviously his like top speed is not fast motion, but like everything that he's doing, his quick feet, his quick arms, his quick spin moves and all that, everything is quicker than the defense is ready for. He changes directions with sharp cuts at all levels of the field, paired with some good ball carrier vision. He can really sell the head fakes to get the defenders thinking he's going one way, and then he plants his foot and gets their backs turned to him in an instant. He has great contact balance. He just seems to bounce off of defenders. Like I said, human pinball, and he carries that ball high and tight. That ball is like tight. That's like almost like up shoulder level. Like that thing is. But I loved Kyle Monangai. He is a huge sleeper in this class, in my opinion. Whatever team gets him is going to be very pleased, and I think he could easily work himself to a starting job just about anywhere. Okay, well, not anywhere, but like just about. A lot of teams could use a Kyle Monangai, in my opinion. Carson, you got anything else?
I'm also in love with this guy. He was my RB4 at one point, dropped him to RB5. And I've talked about this all day. You know, you get sick of watching so much film back to back. This guy rejuvenated me.
Oh, yeah.
I could watch his highlights forever.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. Insane contact balance, good wiggle, patience and burst. 2 full years of workhorse production, so he's proven he can do it over time. And like you said, he takes ball security very seriously, very high, very tight, and this shows 0 fumbles.
Ever. In his whole college career, 0, ever.
Yeah. And I don't understand why he isn't so high. Cody, can you maybe explain to us why he would be ranked so low in these consensus rankings?
Size, I guess it would be one thing, and I guess that athleticism stuff scares me. Like, he's a football player for sure, and like we've seen success with that, like you talked about with these guys. So I'll have to see it in the NFL, I guess. But he is fun to watch. I love it. He's got such a unique run style, and like the way he carries that ball, and I kind of don't like how he takes such quick steps and kind of like chops his feet. I think that could slow him down, especially against NFL defense. But yeah, and just that lack of kind of top end burners. But that's really all I had. I didn't really mean to make him this low in the rankings because he's fun to watch, and I think he'll have a clear spot in the NFL. But yeah, he's fun to watch, and we'll see. I do love, my biggest thing I loved with this guy, to wrap it up, is just the determination he runs with. It's just such a, like, I'm gonna get there, and you guys aren't stopping me. Like, it's just, he seems like he feels that way every time he carries the ball, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, I just have that he doesn't have pull-away speed, not really used as a receiver, only 14 receptions on the year, and will be 23 on draft night, which isn't really too bad, though, because, you know, nowadays I feel like running back age matters less ever than running back.
More than ever before.
More than ever before, running back age matters less now because nowadays running backs really aren't getting a second contract, so you're really only going to have them for their rookie contract, and you're probably not going to sign them anyways. So it really doesn't matter how old they are at the end of that.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And then the last thing I have to say about him is 0.26 missed tackles forced per attempt, which isn't great, isn't terrible, but I think that he shows way better ability than this number suggests because he was getting almost 25 touches a game. So I'm sure he was getting worn down, and it's kind of hard to be efficient whenever you're getting 25 touches a game. So I don't.
Who else have you ever heard drafted from Rutgers in the near past?
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pacheco, yeah.
He's kind of runs similar a little bit.
Yeah,
He's got-
angry.
angry runner.
Yeah, it's just comes from Rutgers just sounds like a beat you up school. Rutgers.
Yeah, but then you realize it's from New Jersey.
Yeah. And they're not very good at football overall. But just like you guys said, the speed thing is concerning. This guy's another guy who's not going to get breakaway runs. And then the other con that I have, this guy takes some huge shots. This guy gets clobbered.
Does, yeah.
Honestly, here's what it reminded me of. Spinning top fights. Where you
it's
like two spinning tops and you send them into a ring and then they just boom and tear each other apart. But whenever a top loses the battle and they get knocked down because of the collision with the other top, it's still moving so fast and it's spinning uncontrollably on all sides. That's Monungai whenever because he's still making such quick movements and then he just gets smacked by a linebacker and in midair he's still
he's still making moves and still staying upright somehow.
Yeah, and then that's my that leads me right into my comp. My comp is a ninja.
Oh, okay.
In movies with ninjas, okay, they act like ninjas can see everything slower.
Oh,
Bullets, their opponent's movements, and they can just easily counterpunch or avoid any oncoming danger.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's what I
I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Guy's a ninja.
I'll give my summary comp now. Very underrated back that can beat defenders in multiple ways, just not with top speed.
Yeah.
My comp, initially I was thinking Kyren Williams, but I thought that would be disrespectful to Kyren Williams. I mean, disrespectful to Kyle Monungai, sorry. I think Kyle Monungai is better than Kyren Williams for sure. But I ended up settling on Ashton Jeanty Jr.
Oh.
boy.
Wow, that's high praise.
When I was watching Kyle Monungai, all I could see was Ashton Jeanty just without the breakaway speed.
Yeah.
Bounce off of guys, break tackles, some wiggle. Yeah.
Contact bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But better ball security than Jeanty.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess. Moving into our number 5 is DJ Giddens out of Kansas State. He's 6 foot, 212 pounds. In 2024, he played 12 games. He had 1,343 rush yards, 6.6 yards per carry, with 7 rush touchdowns and 2 fumbles, 21 receptions and 258 receiving yards, and he had 1 receiving touchdown. Kean, you had him 4. I had him 5. Carson had him 10. Kean, what you got?
Yeah, I know that, Cody, you really like this guy as well.
Yeah.
You've been a Kansas State fan all
Yes.
year. We watched a lot of Kansas State this year, just doing game reviews and stuff, and I didn't think I was going to like DJ Giddens this much, but then diving into his film, I was like, this guy is definitely a sleeper in this class as well. He's not ranked as low as Kyle Monungai.
Right.
But this guy, so good at changing speeds. He shows good patience behind the offensive line until he finds a gap, then he turns on the jets. Yep. Great ball carrier vision paired with jump cuts to find and hit open running lanes. I think he's got 6 foot, 212 pounds, so a taller and pretty heavy back. He's got quick lateral movement and change the direction ability. He's got what I saw, impressive joystick-like movement for his size. That was one thing that I really liked, and one thing that just kind of made me think, okay, this guy is going to be successful in the NFL. This guy, in this class, a very deep class of a lot of good running backs. This guy is one of the guys that I have the most confidence in will be successful in the NFL. He might not have a starting role and have his own backfield and stuff, but I feel like whenever he gets touches, he is going to be good. Good contact balance as well. It's not pretty, but he can stumble his way out of quite a few tackle attempts and stay upright until he gets caught again. He stumbles. He's a stumbler for sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
And just good receiver as well who can make some plays out in space. But I really liked what I saw from Giddens. What do you think, Cody?
I agree with everything you just said. Couple biggest things I guess I'll just add to that is he has the pass catching and route running ability if needed. I like that a lot. Which it just kind of expands his game. In short, I like the way he runs hard. He runs so hard, it's almost kind of wild sometimes. He's just out there just running people over. He's exciting to watch. Has the ability to break a big one with his 4.4 speed. He ran a 4.43 in the 40 at the combine, which is pretty good, especially for this year's backs. and he can definitely provide a good spark when you need it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I agree with everything you said, but I don't remember if you said anything about his ball security. But I did like that a lot. He had one fumble in the past 2 seasons, which was 428 total carries. So I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, like you said, we watched him a lot. We watched Kansas State a lot, and yeah, I love this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just said, and I do like him more than the ranking suggests. I just couldn't fall in love with him because I feel like he's not very explosive, and there's nothing about him that's like, wow, it's just all around. He can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of talked about this with Kyle Monungai, but there's some highlights where DJ Giddens is dishing out hits that he cannot win. And every time, it made me cringe, and that was my first initial reaction. I was like, dang, this guy must have like a huge head or something, 'cause he's always trying to take on fights that he cannot win, and he always takes the worst of it too.
Yeah, that's why I said stumbler. This guy, I think, because he gets hit so damn hard.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Collins?
Yeah, whenever he ran that 4.43 in the 40-yard dash, I was like, oh really? Because I think his speed is pretty good, but I don't think it's not home run speed.
Right.
In my opinion, I think he's gonna get caught by defensive backs downfield if he breaks away. He's gonna get you very flashy 15 to 25-yard runs, is what I believe. But like as far as anything past that, I think he's probably gonna be caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. I had that he's probably not like he's big, but he's probably not big or athletic enough to be like a consistent 3-down back in the NFL.
No, probably not.
He's, in my opinion, I mean, I actually kind of have a mini comp too. Whenever we're done with him, but yeah, he just lacks top end downfield speed, like you just said, and maybe doesn't have the best lateral quickness. Like he can cut, but it's not the quickest.
0.27 missed tackles forced per attempt, above average.
Yeah.
You guys want to get started with your comps?
I don't have anyone actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do one. I don't know if I don't do comps much, but this one felt right to me, and it might be wrong. It might be accurate. David Montgomery type of back with more burst and speed.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I don't think David Montgomery has the wiggle that Giddens has.
Yeah.
I think,
but his pass catching ability,
yes,
kind of a bruiser back,
yeah,
bigger size. That's the first thing that jumped into my mind.
Overall good back that has some speed, wiggle, and is still willing to lower the shoulder. My comp, I think it was like body language and movement. I don't know, but I really liked it. Tony Pollard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's some pretty
I
high
like
praise
that.
for DJ Giddens.
It is, yeah. I like that. Number 4 is Cam Scadaboo out of Arizona State, 5'9", 219 pounds. In 2024, he played 13 games, and he had 1,711 rush yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 21 rush touchdowns, and 4 fumbles. He had 45 receptions, 605 receiving yards with 3 receiving touchdowns. Kean, you had him 7, and Carson and I had him at number 3. So, Carson, what'd you say about him?
I don't know why Kean doesn't like this guy so much, because I feel like this is his kind of back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great contact balance.
What, you mean you don't like dogs?
Yeah, tough snobby runner.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Capable receiver. He was used a lot as a receiver, actually, even though he's not the fastest guy. They still had him running routes out there. Pretty good patience and just unwavering effort. His motor is always running hot.
Big motor.
Yeah, huge effort guy. Just plays hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to add too much, but yeah, decent size, great strength, great contact balance, plays incredibly hard, and can definitely lay the boom. And he serves punishment to defenders for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, brother.
Yeah. The only thing I have to add is 0.33 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is insane.
Pretty good.
Backed up what we saw on film.
Yeah.
Over a lot of touches, too.
Yeah. For sure.
This guy, just like you guys said, he plays bigger and stronger than he looks. He's built like a little groundhog, I guess.
Thick, yeah.
Yeah, this guy is anchored to the ground. His feet are not going to leave the ground. He is going to bully you, and he's probably going to throw you up in the air and punch you out of the stadium.
Yeah.
I honestly, angry, furious. This guy plays, and yeah, you're right. It should be a guy that I really like because he is a good receiver. He really does it all. I think that he's pretty quick. He's not fast. He's not fast.
He's quick.
Let me just say he's not fast. That is the main con that I had. This guy is kind of slow.
Yep. That's what I had to.
But very quick, and he did everything for this Arizona State team. In the college football playoff game alone against Texas, he had 30 carries, 143 rush yards, 2 rush touchdowns. On top of that, he had 8 receptions for 99 receiving yards. He also threw 1 pass. He was 1 of 1 for 42 passing yards and a passing touchdown.
Pretty good.
Remember that game? He was throwing
it
up
was
on
awesome.
the sidelines.
Yeah.
But he is very, very good. I think that his ball carry vision as well. He moves laterally behind the offensive line to hit the gap, and he looks so smooth. It looks like water going down a drain. This guy finds the gap, and he's going to hit it.
I like it, yeah.
There's a little comp for his ball carrier vision. But my cons, the main thing is that this guy is just slow.
Yeah.
And that, I like that. I like a running back who can show some make you miss ability and not just bulldoze you. That's like the main thing that I saw with Scadaboo. He's 219 pounds, so he is a thicker built back. He's obviously built to bulldoze you, but that's how he's always doing this. He's looking to outmuscle you, outlast you, be the last man standing here. Because I don't think he really has the wiggle. Wow. The wiggle. I don't think he has the wiggle to make defenders miss, but he's still going to make sharp cuts and get defenders off balance before they try to tackle him, and they just slide right off of him. But that's my main concern with him, is that he's not fast, and I think that he goes into contact, and he is constantly relying on his ability to stay standing. Yeah. And you can see him get so tired in this college football game than the playoff game, and I'm kind of scared of what it's going to look like in the NFL whenever the dudes are hitting him harder and they're faster than him. I just think his upside is kind of capped, I guess is what I'll say. Now, it's a pretty high floor, I would say, because of he's a dog, he's a fighter, but no speed and not much lateral ability to make guys miss, I think is going to be a little bit rougher for him in the NFL.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. My biggest concerns with him are lacking athleticism, and I just don't know how his game's going to translate to the NFL because he is so one-dimensional on dominating the defenders. In NFL, bigger, stronger, faster, everything. I think he may struggle. And my other comp is just his name, honestly. It should be Scadaboo, but everyone and their mother pronounces it Scadaboo, so I guess we just have to accept the fact that you say it's Scadaboo, even though that's not how it's spelled.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. That's
fun.
And whenever you guys are done, I actually have 4 comps for him.
4 comps, okay.
Well, I mean, as far as cons, I had the same exact thing. Speed downfield, slow out of cuts. Like, he has good patience, and he can plant a foot in the ground and go, but sometimes that foot seems to stay planted for a second. Yeah, it just kind of stays there. That's all I had. So I'm curious to hear these comps you say you have.
My first comp, he reminds me of when a wrestler tries to turn into a basketball player and they don't have any actual ability. They just try to out-muscle guys.
Yeah, that's good.
He reminds me a lot of that.
That's really good.
My second comp, you actually just thought of it now because of what you were saying. He's like an angry bull, in those competitions where you have to stand inside the hula hoop and see who can stand there longest, and he comes by, just throws you. Reminds me of that because he doesn't try to go around you or anything. He just runs right through you and throws you. My third comp, this is for more of the gearheads out here. Since we're going sports, animal lovers. Now we're going gearheads. He's a 3-speed, but he's always. If he should be in second gear, he's always in first gear. So he's always just
ringing it out,
just revving it out, high energy. He wants power right now, and he's not scared to rev it out. And then when he should be in third gear, he's in second gear, so he can still be revving it out.
Oh yeah,
power all the time. And then when he has to shift into third, it doesn't. Yeah, he's grinding gears trying to find third, and there's just no third. So he's just got to stay in second and just keep her pinned and hope that the guys don't hawk it.
Yeah, accurate.
Now, my fourth comp. Yeah. My NFL comp.
Okay.
Love it.
Don't love it.
Oh.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Okay, yeah, like a thicker, shorter back. Yeah.
Not really.
That's probably one of the closest guys you could compare.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So.
Yeah.
But I like my first 3 comps.
That's great, yeah.
They're really good. Yeah, it paints a really good picture.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Spot on.
Yeah, spot on. Number 3 in our top 3 rankings. Here he is, Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, 6 foot, 221 pounds. In this 2024 season, he played 12 games with 1,660 rush yards, 5.9 yards per carry, 15 rush touchdowns, and 1 fumble, 38 receptions, 373 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. I had him 4. Carson had him 6. Kean, he is your RB1, and tell us why.
Oh, yeah. This guy.
This is a hot take.
Unbelievable.
Kinda.
Yeah, over Ashton Genty. Don't worry, I got Ashton Genty too. But Omarion Hampton impressed the hell out of me, and maybe it's because right after I watched Ashton Genty, we'll get into why I was kind of a little bit lower on Ashton Genty. Let me just say, I'm not gonna. Ashton Genty's not a bust. He's not gonna be terrible in the NFL.
He's not Drake May.
He's not.
Whoa.
In 1 year.
Unnecessary shots.
But Omarion Hampton, this guy is something that Ashton Genty is not. This guy is a big, bruising, super strong running back. 6 foot, 221 pounds. This guy might not have an ounce of fat on him.
Yeah.
This guy is built like a man. He easily runs through arm tackles. He's a man among boys out there. There was one play versus Wake Forest that really was like dropped my jaw. Literally while I was watching that, I was like, how the hell did he just do that? But Wake Forest, this season, he literally jumps over a lineman who had fallen in front of him. This was right by the goal line. And before his feet even touch the ground again, a safety from Wake Forest tries to hit him and knock him backwards. Except Hampton is strong enough and has the core strength to power through the safety while he's in midair. And whenever his feet are back on the ground, he bulldozes the safety another 5 yards into the end zone. Which is just crazy to me that he had the power to, in midair, keep leaned forward, truck him, and then truck him again to get into the end zone. This guy as well, what really impressed me, he's got a very powerful plant leg. He stomps into the ground and then turns upfield. For a back his size, a lot of times you don't see a lot of lateral ability. Or at least they don't plant as hard because, it kind of hurts and it's bad for the ankles, bad for the knees. But this guy is not afraid to plant. He's tough to bring down once he gets running downhill and he lowers his shoulder. He's patient behind his offensive line. He makes some little jump cuts until he finds a gap to plant and power through. I think he's good at maneuvering and weaving around defenders downfield with pretty strong cuts for his size. He's not going to make you miss. That's not how he's built. That's not what he does. But And then as well, I think he's a comfortable receiver with strong hands. But just the sheer power and strength that this guy plays with to go along with a little bit of speed. The 4.45 40-yard dash, I was like, yeah, that's not right. That is incorrect. I didn't see that. But as far as like everything, just doing everything well in a very strong, manly way, that's what I really liked from Omarion Hampton. And I guess we'll get into comparing him to Ashton Genty here in a little bit whenever we get to Genty. I will. But I really liked what I saw from Omarion Hampton, and that's kind of why. Do you guys have anything else positive for him?
I got nothing else to say good about him. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I mean,
with me or him?
No. With Keon, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Patient, strong runner, good balance. He can hit the hole in a hurry. Enough size for power runs. Pretty good downfield also, and can change direction downfield without losing speed. Is that because he's slow? Maybe.
No.
But yeah. So Carson, it sounds like you might want to get us started with cons.
Yeah, there's no denying he's a physical specimen, but I just didn't see anything that wowed me. I just think he doesn't have any wiggle. There's not like overwhelming power, not really much receiving. 0.26 missed tackles forced per attempt, which I would like it to be up closer to 0.3 with a guy this high. He was my running back 8 or 9 at one point. I moved him up because I've heard he's going to sneak into the first round of the draft. And first round hit rate on running backs is insanely high. So I'm like, he's probably going to be good. I got to take Keon's opinion here with a bucket of salt too, because he is the running back guru of the group. So
yeah, true.
He's probably right here, but I just didn't have anything to fall in love with him with.
Bucket of salt is crazy.
Not a grain of salt, a bucket of salt.
Great production the last 2 years is really another reason why I have him as high as I do.
And you know that the defenses weren't scared of Drake May.
That's for sure, yeah. But there's just not anything here to wow me like Kyle Monunga had. Like RJ Harvey had great speed. I just think everybody brings something to the table, and Omarion Hampton just brings everything to the table, but nothing great. Definitely embodies jack of all trades, master of none, in my opinion.
Yeah, he dropped down mine a little bit just because of his lack of elusiveness, I guess. I like to see that if my guy's up high in the rankings. I like that he at least has that ability if he's a power back. And if he's an elusive guy, I want to see some power. Like I just want to see more of a mix of both than he had. I do love the guy for what we already talked about, but I like to see more elusiveness, and he doesn't have, in my opinion, much change of speed. It's either he's waiting to be impatient or he is full go. downhill, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing, but sometimes you need that little bit of change of speed.
Yeah, I didn't really see changing speed ability either, and I don't really think he's fast or quick. So I think his top speed is okay.
He's the number one running back.
Yeah, once he slowly accelerates. Yeah, exactly. I know. He's got to be caught by defensive backs downfield. Yeah. And I guess, like, the main thing, the only way I can really explain it is that, like, my testosterone was boosted watching this guy play football.
Okay.
Why? He doesn't, like...
This guy is a man.
I like, hardly even saw him run anybody over.
No, he was running people over. He must have missed it. No, this guy
was a full dose of total T.
Maybe it's because I watched him right after Ashton Genty, so it's like I was just done being wild.
You were gentified?
Yeah, like Kian said that he was, what do you say, something impressed, like overly impressed with him?
I was, I guess, super impressed.
Super impressed? Yeah, I was super disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's tough to watch anybody after Ashton Genty. And like I said, I will say why I see these guys differently in a second, but I have a comp for this guy.
Okay.
And I guess he's already been mentioned on this show, but I feel like he really fits here too as well, because the size, the strength, the patience, the lack of top end speed. I saw Le'Veon Bell and Omari Hampton a lot. Because like Le'Veon Bell, he's not going to run further than 30 yards. He was going to get caught. But as far as like waiting behind the offensive line until a gap would hit up, strong plant, go, maybe run through a couple guys and then get caught. That's what I saw from Omari Hampton.
Yeah, I like it.
I didn't even see that patience, honestly. Like I said, take this with a bucket of salt because he's the running back guru. So, but I just didn't have anything to fall in love with him with. Cody, anything else to say before I summary comp it?
No, wrap it up.
A big downhill runner that gets the job done without much flash. NFL comp, I really like this one, even though I feel like you guys may not. Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, that one makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Yeah, that one does make sense. Cool. I like that one. I'm a big Joe Mixon guy. I like him.
I'm not. I like Joe Mixon whenever he was older. Whenever he was younger. Whenever he was younger, that big, like, the way they run is very similar.
I don't understand why you like this guy so much, because I don't know either.
I was expecting a Zach Manunga #1 out of you or something like that.
Or Kyle Manunga, yeah.
Kyle Manunga.
I feel like this guy's upside is limited, like you don't like. And I was hearing earlier in this week reports that some GMs have Omari Hampton above Ashton Genty in their running back rankings.
Smoke
I didn't see that, but
I saw it too.
I said, what the hell? Now, come to find out, our running back expert actually has that. So now I actually got to look into it a little more. But out of all these guys, Omari Hampton is the guy that I watched the most. Just because
you're like watching it again and again, you're like, what the hell is everybody seeing?
Exactly, that's exactly what I was doing. Because I kept like watching my guys, like the guys I had ranked ahead of them. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna go watch Omari Hampton. Now these guys are fresh. And every time I did it, I'm like, yeah, like this looks slow and underwhelming compared to what I just saw. So I was like, I know I should have him higher, but I just can't because there's nothing gets me going.
Here's the best way that I can explain it to put a bow on it.
Okay.
I guess the stuff that I'm seeing, as well as like maybe the people who put out that little rumor that Omari Hampton's ranked above
smoke screen.
Yeah, it's a little smoke screen about him above Ashton Genty, according to some people. I think that Omari Hampton has traits and abilities that will make him better in the NFL. I think that his traits and everything that he brings, everything that he is going to have a better chance to be successful in the NFL. That's the best way I can explain it until we get to Ashton Genty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We got one more guy between them.
Yeah, let's work our way then.
Our consensus ranked #2 is TreVeyon Henderson out of Ohio State. He is 5'10", 202 pounds. In 2024, he played 16 games. He had 1,016 rush yards, 7.1 yards per carry, 10 rush touchdowns, 0 fumbles, 27 receptions, 284 receiving yards with 1 receiving touchdown. Kean, you had him 3. Carson and I had him 2. Carson, get us started.
Earlier when I was talking about Ohio State and their committee, they need to be efficient to stand out. That's exactly what TreVeyon Henderson did here. 7.1 yards per carry, pops off the page.
In the Big Ten.
Yeah. Good competition.
And I thought maybe this just could be because they're O-line or because they have a good defense, good threats on the outside. But then I looked at Quinshon Judkins, 5.4 yards per carry, and it verified my thinking that TreVeyon is just that playmaker. Laterally quick, great acceleration, hits the hole hard, playmaker. He's patient enough, and he has great receiving ability, as both Ohio State running backs showed this year, as they used him a lot in the receiving game. And on top of all this, he's a great guy. He's very religious. I saw that
Yep.
he started like this whole Christianity like group at Ohio State. He often prays with like the opposite team in the end zone and other coaching staffs before games. Teammates and coaching staffs praise him for how hardworking and selfless he is, and this is exactly why I think that he'd be great in a timeshare in the NFL. He was never a workhorse at Ohio State, aside from his freshman year where he had the most yards there. He showed some injury concerns, and I think this guy also screamed Commanders to me because he could be amazing alongside Brian Robinson Jr., where Brian Robinson is the pounder, Trayvon Henderson is the Jahmyr Gibbs to this backfield. And I think that he would thrive in this. He's not a workhorse, which is why I can only rank him number 2. Well,
That's why you're good. What do you have to say about Ashton Jenkins?
I don't know. But, I think that definitely has home run speed, definitely has make a man miss ability. Just get him in a timeshare, and he'll be great.
Yeah, I am a big fan of this guy. I kept watching him back back and forth with Judkins just to see how they operated in this offense. And
You're a big Ohio State fan over this draft process.
Tell you what, man, I
Will
might not
Howard,
want to be,
Trayvon
but
Henderson?
I may not want to be, but I just don't want to be biased. Got to bring the real facts here. What
The
I'm
opposite of
seeing.
biased.
Yeah.
Wonder what he's going to say about Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, seriously.
We don't know.
Catch you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a dynamic playmaker. He's got good speed, quickness, shiftiness, lateral agility, good pass catching ability, and he's a great pass protector also. Like that that bumps him up a big spot for me. Enough power to deliver some hits, break some tackles, and good acceleration. And just one last pro for me is he hasn't fumbled in 3 years.
Dang!
So
There you go.
that's pretty nice.
Yeah, those are all very good call-outs, including the off-field one, Carson. That was some
Yeah, that's awesome.
cool. Yeah. But Trayvon Henderson, he just feels like a guy who has definitely earned himself a big workload in the NFL because of all the things he can do well. Like maybe he does have injury concerns, and maybe that just won't happen because the NFL has kind of gone away from workhorses, except for a select few. But I also loved what I saw from Trayvon Henderson. He would be the running back 1 in last year's class, in my opinion.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of these guys, I feel like would be just crawling up our rankings last year if they were in last year's class. And he could have came out last year, but he went back to school to try to, I guess, get better. I don't think he planned on Quinshad Judkins coming and stealing some of his thunder, but that's kind of what happened. But he still prevailed through that. He plays a big part in his own efficiency, I do believe. This is a guy who, as I said earlier, I forget who we were talking about now. We talked about so many running backs and watched so many, but this guy is never going to even get close to the phone booth. He's not going to meet a defender in the phone booth. He's a very smart runner who is going to turn on the jets, stutter step, change directions, never even going to come close to that phone booth. He carries his own cell phone, so you can always reach him still.
Yeah.
You can never reach him because he's never got service. I
Oh,
guess that makes
okay,
sense.
yeah,
You can never reach this guy because he's off the grid. He's never going to get close to you. He's always planning ahead to try to make you miss so that he doesn't have to bring it in close and try to break a tackle. Because honestly, that brings me into my cons. He's not a great tackle breaker, in my opinion. He's just so damn good at avoiding hits and avoiding contact with his smart and decisive running. It doesn't really matter that much. Like I don't really care that much because he is very smart. Another thing, I don't really think doesn't make the sharpest cuts. He's not a plant and turn kind of guy. He kind of rounds them, but he's quick with it. So it doesn't really matter that much. He does it before he meets the defender, as I said. So I just think that, maybe he doesn't make the sharpest cuts. Maybe he's not the best tackle breaker, but he is just efficient. He knows how to gain yards. He sees open space well, and he goes and gets it.
This leads me perfectly into my con. 0.25 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is low for someone ranked this high, but this is because he avoids the phone booth. He knows that's not his game, so he just runs past you instead, so he doesn't have to make guys miss.
Yeah, you can text him. Just don't.
Yeah.
You're right.
Don't call him.
Yeah.
One other con, I think that he is smart and he's a smart player, and this is kind of nitpicking at this point, but I think that sometimes his vision can be kind of lacking. I think he can get into crowded areas where he does not want to be. Mm-hmm. He accidentally gets in there is what it feels like. He just overlooks something. Doesn't happen often, but I saw that happen a little tiny bit. And also just his smaller size. That's what I'd love to see him be part of a committee. I think he could be electric in a committee. I just don't know if he can. He's earned a workload in the NFL, but I don't know if he's earned a workhorse in the NFL. I don't know if he's that type, which I kind of hope he's not. I think he could be great in a system.
At 202, he is like a little bit on the thinner
little bit,
side.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants to be a workhorse. We ready to go into comps? Because I have one.
Ooh,
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, here we go. Well, you guys got to think back to some old games that you used to play on your phones or tablets or something.
Okay.
We're talking Crossy Road.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh.
okay.
The comp for
Okay.
this guy is somebody who's really good at Crossy Road.
Okay.
So in Crossy Road, you're a character trying to cross as many lanes of a busy street, train tracks, river with logs as you can without getting hit by anything. You got to be very good at thinking ahead or looking ahead at what directions you need to go while being quick twitch and avoiding danger in each lane you run across. So I feel like Trayvon Henderson would be very good at Crossy Road,
I like it.
Yeah, I like that
but
a
in
lot.
real life.
That's
Yeah.
really good. I like it.
Summary comp for myself. Explosive back that would thrive in an Austin Eckler type role, as I already touched on. NFL comp, he's a mix of Isaiah Pacheco and Chase Brown. He's got Isaiah Pacheco's feet because of how hard he pounds him on the ground, how high he runs with his feet.
Yeah, he's a high stepper.
Yeah, and Chase Brown because speed, athleticism, avoiding phone booths, all that.
Yeah,
like
I can
that.
see it. I like
that
that.
a lot, yeah.
I like that combo. Pretty good. Which brings us to our number one consensus rank. Ashton Genty, Boise State, 5'8.5", 211 pounds. In 2024, he played 14 games, 2,601 rush yards, 7 yards per carry, 29 rush touchdowns, and 4 fumbles, 23 receptions, 138 receiving yards with 1 receiving touchdown. Kean, you had him too. Carson and I had him 1 overall. So I will get us started on his pros. And to be honest, all I got is pros for this guy. I mean, it's hard not to, and I'm sure a lot of people do. It's not really that surprising, but let's just roll through him. He looks so balanced and in control all of the time. Like, guys are hanging off him, guys are hitting him. He just looks like he's steady Eddie, like just power forward, not going to be affected by anything.
Everything is a walk in the park for him.
Yeah.
It's easy.
I think this guy could play Crossy Road in real life, get hit by a car, bounce off, and keep going. Like, that's how he looks when he's running the ball.
It's just so smooth and effortless.
Yeah,
It's so natural.
It's so easy. He is fast through the line. He's got good downfield speed with the ability to change direction or shake tacklers without losing a whole lot of speed. He's got good fast feet, good wiggle, and he's not going to go down on first contact. Probably not going to go down on second or third contact either. And he always seems to break at least 1 or 2 tackles, and can and will run people over if you need it. This guy's just a combo, everything good, and he's got. Last thing I have for him is he's got good vision. He can obviously see what's going on well. I mean, with his production, obviously he can see what's going on well, and he's got great instant burst.
Yeah, incredible contact balance is the biggest thing that everybody's always talking about.
Yeah.
That's the exact adjective that I used. Incredible.
Yeah.
Contact balance.
It's worthy.
Yeah. He doesn't really have breakaway speed, but he definitely has plenty of speed.
Good downfield speed.
Yeah. He's a rare combination of speed, power, and wiggle that we hardly ever see in this great of quantities. Effortlessly break tackles, as Cody said. Bursts. Excellent at maintaining speed through change of direction and breaking tackles, also like you said. And an insane 0.40 missed tackles forced per attempt.
That's just hilarious.
And mind you, this is with 397 touches on the year.
Yeah.
So he's getting worn down and tired and used a lot, but he's still hyper efficient. 7 yards of carry as well. It's insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah, 185.8 rushing yards per game is crazy. 29 rushing touchdowns. Carried his team to the number 3 seed in the college football playoff. Number 2 in the Heisman voting. Some people think that he should have won it. One of the
Right.
best college football seasons ever that we have ever seen.
And he's only your RB2.
He's only my RB2. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's so confusing to me, but go on.
But yeah, you guys said it all. The contact balance. You can hit him from any and all angles. He's not going to go down, at least in college. I think that he's built like a strong lockbox.
Okay.
He's like built like a safe. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like you said, he's smooth runner. I don't think he's super fast though. That kind of leads me into one of my comps. I don't think that his speed is not going to pull him away from all NFL defenders. I think that he's fast. Obviously, he's a smooth runner. What does speed reminded me of? He reminded me of one of those wind-up toy cars that like once they get faster as they unspool.
Oh yeah.
Like twist
Okay,
it up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
as he powers down the field, it feels like he gets faster with every step. So I did really like that. But here's the main con that I saw from him: cutting laterally is the weakest part of his game. and maybe the only weak part of his game. And let me just explain this here. But he gets moving downhill like a bowling ball, and then there's no sharp cutting to make defenders miss. It's just I'm gonna lower my shoulder, be slippery, cover myself in butter, and just slip out of your tackle, then get going. He's got to round cuts by chopping his feet, and then he still manages to stiff arm the defender with ease. All of these cons that I'm gonna say basically have a pro to them because I'm
cons.
I'm like typing them out, and then I'm like, but his lateral quickness, it's just not a big part of his game or running style. But no worries because he's only the best north to south runner that I've ever seen. Like north to
only
south.
your RB2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. North to south runner. I think that he is great. I have worries about how he can cut laterally because the amount of tackles that he broke in mostly the Mountain West all year. We saw him struggle. He didn't struggle against Oregon, but it looked like basically nobody struggled against Oregon. You saw how the Ohio State game went. They just completely plowed over him, their defense at least. But he struggled against Penn State. Penn State was able to shut him down. I mean, I know that he was going to get his because he's going to get 30 carries a game. But I have concerns about – I don't know if his –
What do you think about that, Cody? I don't know. I think they shut down the line, and Ashton Genty made chicken soup out of chicken shit.
Chicken soup out of chicken. I can't even remember his stat line from that game.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good.
No.
So
but the highlights were still really impressive.
Right.
So I remember talking about reviewing the game. I was like, the stats look terrible, but if you watch the highlights, Ashton Genty was getting stopped behind the line every time, but he was still getting 2 or 3 yards of carry.
Yeah.
I just have fears that if you can't cut laterally, plant, change directions, get defenders off balance, you just try to steamroll them, it's not going to work as successfully in the NFL. Now, is he the best to ever do it in college, best that I've ever seen? I think that he is different from I think he's different from a Saquon Barkley. He's different from a Bijan Robinson. I would honestly put Bijan Robinson and Saquon above him just because they have an ability to cut, get going. They can wiggle you out of your shoes. I didn't see that from Ashton Genty.
All right, that's fair, but what isn't fair, I don't understand where you're going with this. Because you just said if you can't move laterally, if you can't make guys miss, then you're going to struggle in the NFL. Then why is Omarion Hampton your RB1?
Omarion Hampton, he cut. That's what I was saying. He plants hard and he cuts. Is Ashton Genty faster? Yes. Does he have better contact balance? Yes. But is Omarion Hampton bigger, and can he still plant and cut? And obviously he's not going to juke you, but he's going to plant, cut, change directions. I guess I didn't really see that from Ashton Genty. I think that his ball carry vision is pretty good on Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good.
I'd say it's pretty good, but I feel like he relies on his tackle breaking ability so much that he could get to an easier gap. But he just takes the one that's right there because he knows that he's going to beat whoever is on the other side of that gap. And then he does. And then my last concern for him is that he did have 397 touches over 14 games, which is 28.4 touches per game. That is a huge workload. I just hope that it doesn't affect him in future seasons. I don't want to see him get injured because he is very exciting to watch. But I guess I know that Ashton Genty was the better running back in college. I'm trying to do some projecting here. It's what I saw. Ashton Genty was obviously the great running back, one of the greatest running backs of all time in college. But this is a great running back class, and I think that the stuff that Ashton Genty does is going to hit a slight knock in the NFL. So I'm a great tackle breaker in college, and this is well, you played in the Mountain West, knocked down. It's well, there were some games Penn State, you just got kind of you were a little bit less efficient because
104 yards on 30 carries.
So
40 on 30.
104 on 30.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are concerns I think that everybody just kind of looks past. Now, obviously, I still think he should be drafted in the first round. And like I said, he is a great running back. I just want to see him cut laterally and get guys off balance before he plows through them because in the NFL that's going to be tougher.
All right, I actually do have some cons for him, as much as I'm trying to defend the guy here. I do find all those touches a concern because he is getting used and abused this past year. Wasn't really used as a receiver a whole lot. I don't really think that people are going to be drafting him for his receiving ability, but there's that. I also have that he doesn't have a lot of wiggle.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has less than Omarion Hampton.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't think Omarion Hampton has wiggle. I just think he has the strength and he can cut, plant, go. I didn't see there was no cutting, planting, going from Ashton Genty. It was just going and running through whatever was in front of him.
All right, I think Omarion Hampton's more of a cut, plant,
Yeah,
go. You know,
that's fair. Yeah, that's
Trayvon
fair.
Henderson's a cut, plant, go.
Yeah,
True. Yeah.
that's fair.
And then my last con is he does have some fumble concerns, actually. Maybe it's because he's always
Exhausted.
exhausted. Takes 3 guys to bring him down, so like he's losing a sense of ball security at the end when he's just trying to stay upright. But yeah, I think he needs to focus on this a little more to truly be elite.
Yeah. I guess I said I had no cons, but I can agree with those cons you guys are bringing up, most of them, but just a lot of them are washed by 2,601 rush yards and 29 rush touchdowns. It's like, I'm not going to doubt this guy. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's effective. I don't care who you're playing in college. And, like, he played good competition. Not all the time. Sure, not all the time. But he's still running for 300 yards a game against these people. Like, you would think it's like, all right, we're not as good of a football team, okay? We're playing Ashton Genty this week. We're only focusing on Ashton Genty this week. Tackle this guy, and he's going to run for 300 yards on you no matter what. So
Stacking 9 guys in the box.
yeah, and he's still going to run through them all. So a lot of my cons, that's why I have no real cons for him, is because they're all washed. Like
That's fair.
Just the production, I can't go against it. Like this guy, he doesn't technically have the size that I personally would like. Like I like the bigger, taller, a little bit stronger backs. But like I can't. Whenever I watch this guy on film, it's like the eye test. I can't put him any lower. I can't really put anything against him.
No, yeah, and I've got like I don't think you guys are wrong per se. Obviously, I don't agree with you, but like I can see everything that you're saying, and just watching the film, obviously it is clear as day that this guy is very good at football.
True.
It's just like trying to do projections into the NFL, and he's not going to be as elite in the NFL as in college, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I just had to challenge it just to.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Summary comp.
Yeah. Oh, I got one too.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so you guys know those inflatable punching bags that like kids have? They're
The ones that like rock.
They're filled with no. They're filled with like the bottom is filled with sand on the ground. So they like you punch it and it's like boop.
Yeah. Like
on the ground.
Like the little kid punching bags. Yeah. Well, this one is one of those inflatable punching bags. You can't knock it over, but this one's made out of Kevlar.
Ooh.
So like
Oh.
bulletproof.
Tough.
You punch it again and again, but it always rolls back up and stays standing. You can you can punch it, you can kick it, you can stab it. It's not going to go down.
But it doesn't wiggle very fast because
It
the
doesn't
metacentric height's pretty low. So
Exactly. It's kind of
I like that.
Kevlar's heavier than the plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
good.
So like
Yeah.
it doesn't move as fast.
That is
Yeah.
good. That's a good comp. I like that.
My summary: 3 down back that can always make something out of nothing. And then for my NFL comp, I had to take a huge hit to my pride.
Oh.
And I had to do some online searching because no matter how much I watched this guy, I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So I just had to see what everybody else was saying because I didn't think there was anybody that was comparable to him that I've ever seen. So I went online, and people are saying LaDainian Tomlinson.
I've seen that one a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that one. No,
I don't
guess
really know.
that's-
That was ahead of my time. So
Yeah, LT. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. That's probably as close as you're going to get because, there isn't really anyone like him in this class.
You guys each want to shout out maybe one more running back that you
Sure.
thought should be higher in our consent? Like you had ranked higher yourself, but the collective of us did not like them.
The collective, yeah.
Drug them down out of our top 10. Anybody you guys want to shout out?
Sure.
I actually have 2 guys. One is because of stats, and the other one is because of the eye test. First, I'll do stats, and that's Corey Kiner out of Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
He also had 0.4 missed tackles forced per attempt, which really popped off the page. And he kind of reminded me also a little bit of a Ashton Genty Jr. common on guy type because of, he's short, small, but tackle breaker.
Yeah, defenders hit him and he just stays upright. Like a good chunk of the time, this guy is stiff and upright and just play.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, I think. I don't know. But he plays stronger than his 5'9", 209 frame entails, I think.
But I still only did have him ranked as RB14
Yeah.
because he is just very slow.
Yeah.
More of a PFF star than anything. Then my second guy that I want to give a shout out to is my RB8, Jaquez Hunter out of Auburn.
Jarquez
Hunter, yeah. I really liked what I saw with him. He's not very big, but he's definitely a bruising back, decent top-end speed, contact balance, runs through arm tackles, and he's just all around, looks like a natural. There's just nothing very special for me to have him ranked any higher than 8.
Yeah, I agree with that. That guy is a good, solid, balanced all around. 4.44, 40-yard dash was pretty darn good for him. Yeah, I saw the running through arm tackles. This guy's a fighter. He stayed upright after losing his shoe in a tackle attempt versus Texas A&M. I was impressed by that.
Pretty good.
But yeah, 5'9", 204. I think he plays stronger than that, like you said.
Yeah.
One guy that I'll shout out, who is my running back 9 out of Syracuse. Give me a distinguished fellow, LeQuint Allen Jr.
I love this guy.
Yeah, LeQuint Allen Jr. The one thing that I saw from him is he is just crafty. He is resilient. He's not the biggest guy. He kind of honestly looks like a receiver. He's 6 foot even, 204 pounds. He's like got a skinnier build. But this guy he's got a, whenever he's trying to break tackles, he's got a whatever it takes nature. He had, especially whenever he's near the goal line. He had one touchdown run against Virginia Tech whenever he was literally diagonal and falling forward with one defender that was diving at him to keep him out of the end zone, like try to hit him head on. And he did one of the quickest spin moves I have ever seen while he's diagonal, no less, like a drill. He like just drilled his way into the end zone, bounced off the top of the diving defender, and just right into the end zone. And he had very good receiver production as well. 64 catches, 521 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns this season. He actually lined up as a receiver 122 times. Not that I'm saying he's going to do that in the NFL, but he just has that
dual threat ability.
Yes, the catching ability. And I was just really impressed with LeQuint Allen Jr., and he is another guy that I think is a big sleeper in this class.
Sure, I like that. One guy I'll shout out because I feel like I have to is my RB7, Jordan James out of Oregon. I'm actually fairly high. You guys hate this guy.
That's not me.
But
I don't even like Oregon.
Yeah, I guess not. I think that, like, sure, he might not have had as good of production and everything like that and isn't ranked as high, but he was playing against good competition all the time. And that is always a big thing for me, is what competition do you play against? He plays with good patience, in my opinion. He's got decent burst and lateral agility, and he does very well in tight quarters with his shorter size, kind of lower center of gravity. And for his size, he packs a lot of punch. He can run people over, and he's definitely not afraid of contact. And I like him so high too because he proved that he can play like that. And I think he's got a lot of tread left on the tires because he only had one season in Oregon as top running back, like as RB1. Whoa! Thanks to that guy. Yeah. The past seasons were committees with Bucky, but this past season he was finally RB1 on Oregon. He showed up, showed out, and one last thing, I think he's got a real good nose for the end zone and for those short yardage games when you need it. But as far as cons, he doesn't have the best long speed. Receiving game probably needs some work, and kind of a pro con, he had a great O-line ahead of him, so like that obviously might inflate your numbers a bit whenever you're running behind Oregon's O-line. But I really like this guy a lot.
Yeah, I did not. He was my running back 26,
That's
obviously,
disrespect.
out of the 30 that we ranked.
Dang.
This guy, Jordan James' mindset is, I am a hammer. And that's what he's thinking whenever he grabs the ball. Runs north to south. He hits you with some oomph, and then he tries to bounce off you and break it outside into space. I love this little comp that I have for him.
Okay.
I was very proud of this one. But this guy he's the first ball swung in Newton's cradle. That's like all the balls lined up. He's like, he's those pendulum balls. But that's him. I don't think his speed is good, and I think that he is very stiff whenever he has to make a sharp turn. I think that this guy he is a drag car, not even like a fast drag car, but a drag car that looks kind of fat. He's a funny car, I guess you could say. But funny cars are still fast. But they're like fatter. Car. But they're like a fatter, thicker car. Anyways,
like a mud drag, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're still kind of fast, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh.
He only goes straight, is what I'm saying.
Mud bog truck.
Yes. Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah.
Power.
But some of them hit that mud pit with some force. Yeah. But that's basically what I saw from Jordan James. Very north to south and like zero east to west. East to west.
East to east.
East to west. This guy's compass does not have any east to west on it.
My comp is kind of fun too. So I have him as like a bowling ball like back with speed. Mm-hmm. So one of my comps was I actually didn't have an NFL comp for this. I just had this. He's like a 10-pound bowling ball.
Yeah.
Because he's not a 14-pounder. Because I think he still has some speed. Mm-hmm. He's not a 6-pounder. You can't just whip him down the lane, but he's a 10-pound bowling ball because you can curve it, and it curves very slow rounded turns.
Yes.
When it's gonna like run into all the pins and hopefully like knock him down. But He could also be a gutter ball, and he could just trip and fall. And
Yeah, he looks like he is the reason that they put those signs on the roads with the super sharp turns. It says like trucks like 25 miles per hour on this turn. It's like he will tip over if he
Yeah, I like them. All right, any other guys you guys want to shout out?
I'm good.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, that wraps it up. So this was our top 10 running backs Draft Brothers episode. So all over the board, of course, as expected.
Yeah, let us hear it in the comments. I'm gonna put like
please go at Kean's throat for Omar and Hampton.
Please.
We all heard about it in the comments for the Dylan Gabriel, and oh my gosh, you guys got stuff to say about Shedeur Sanders. Everybody is buying into the hype whenever we are not. We're like, damn, you guys are just doing this for clicks. Like, ain't no way that Shedeur Sanders is your quarterback 6. Like, Dylan Gabriel at 1. This is a joke. But yeah, hey, watch the film. These are all film-based reviews, but we love to hear it. I love reading these comments because they make me laugh, and I get to answer back to you guys to try to explain. But yes, let us hear it. Email us. Give us all your thoughts. We want to hear your takes.
Yeah, laststopsportstalk@gmail.com. Yeah, comments. But yeah, like, subscribe. I mean, we're not doing it for clicks. We're just doing it because that's what we see. It's just is what it is.
Yeah, just wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, check the track record.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good
Solid,
one.
yeah.
But anyways, we appreciate you guys watching. Catch us in the next Draft Brothers episode. That'll be a couple weeks away, but we got a lot more to go. We got wide receivers, tight ends, offense, and defense. So
we'll be talking free agency. Free agency is happening this upcoming week, starting Tuesday. So next Sunday, we'll be recording everything.
There's been lots of big moves lately.
Busy.
Yep.
And as Cody said, wide receivers in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So tune back in. We appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you on the next one.